Wow, that's taking forever. That was a long delay after I pushed that button. Okay, this is Breaking the Chains, where Jim Lujan and I collaborate live on an animated short we're doing, and you're about to see the intro. This is the show where Jim Lujan and Cory Kerr collaborate live. And it still doesn't have sound effects.
It's okay. I can deal with that. I've made peace with that now.
That is the type of thing that I could easily distract myself with and never finish things.
I know.
So like the stuff that isn't part of the project, but it's like surrounds the project.
Mm-hmm. And never lets you get to the project.
I see a lot of people do that, where they're like they build the branding around the project. I never do that. Okay, I wanted to show you. You sent me this. Oh, I should probably show the Photoshop file. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he sent me this Photoshop file, and with this face.
That's Unchained Wayne. For those of you who are wondering who that is, that's the hero of our short that we're doing.
I'm gonna get rid of head for scale, which I really liked this, by the way, that you left this layer in here so that I could scale it down appropriately.
Which one? The head for scale?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the reason I did that for folks watching, the little head is to show Cory how big the guy's head should be comparatively to his body, but it's kind of like a junk layer. Like he can toss that layer later. The big is the all detailed one.
The nice thing about that is drawing the head bigger allows us to get close-up shots, exactly. But I don't get to see, like on the wider shots, how big it is. So I like that you thought that through. That was cool. Yeah. So I'll just go through. Well, let me show you. You've already seen this, but let me show everybody else. This is what I did. So each eyelid, upper, lower, left, right eyelid, so 4 eyelids, are independently controlled by these controllers. So really quick, I wanted to kind of go through what I did there. And I don't think we have to do this in everybody, but I just noticed the way that you drew, let me get rid of head for scale, the way that you drew his eyes, they were easily separated, right? And so I thought, oh, it'd be really cool. We could get a lot more expression if I could make him kind of squint or, or like, sometimes if you get punched in the face, your eyes roll back in your head, and when you open your eyes, your eyes flip down after they open.
I usually don't get punched in the face, but
okay. Well, when it happens,
this is 2021.
Little known fact: I was in a very short-lived underground fight club.
What? Were you fighting animals?
No, we were. I had a roommate who just one day was like, "Hey, I bought a bunch of boxing gloves. Let's throw a party." And yeah, that's why my teeth are messed up. Actually,
that can never, ever end well.
No, it was great. Some of the girls were like, "Hey, we want to fight," and we were like, "Okay, but no intergender fighting because that's going to get weird fast." So we had it was a bizarre party. Anyway, that didn't last too long, but you notice things when you're watching stuff like that. And so I noticed that when people get hit in the face, their eyes will often, with their eyelids closed, their eyes will roll up, and then they open their eyes. And when they open their eyes like flip down again. Anyway, so I did that. But let me just get rid of Wayne's.
I do like the squinting, thing. That's kind of cool. I've never had a character squint yet.
So this is all these are.
Oh, wow. So you separated those.
Yeah, and that way I can control each layer independently. Because when you put a puppet pin in After Effects, it puts a mesh of triangles over that layer, but it does the whole layer. And so I separated it so that the layer's like that. And then I'll show you. So those are all the eyelids.
By the way, for those who are watching now, a lot of times Cory will say stuff that you guys don't understand, but that's okay because I just nod and pretend like I understand it too. That's him. That's So Cory took the eyelids that I gave him and cut them, and so he can make them squint. That's a step above. I thought I was doing a lot of prep here. That's great. Wow.
So I just did a little bit just because I normally wouldn't do this, but this is the main character.
Exactly.
So,
that's another point too. You're not doing those with every single background character, unless
right.
you want to. But no,
I don't.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed about with the jaw is instead of just cutting it off, I went in and cut out anywhere where you don't have black lines, and so his jaw. Let me turn this on multiply so that we can see what's going on. His jaw comes up. So where this actually, you know what? I'll do it this way. That'll be easier to understand. We'll just change the color to blue. Take multiply off. Okay, so his jaw goes all the way up to just underneath his eyes now. And the reason for that is I can't remember how you had it, but I think it was lower.
Yeah.
I want a lot of overlap so that when his jaw moves. Oh, I remember what happened. You had cut like a straight line right across here.
I can't see
your okay, let me draw a black line here. Remind me not to save this because I'm totally ruining this file.
Okay. But I think the screen that, at least on my end, the screen that you're sharing, let me maximize it. The screen that you're sharing, I can't see any movement. It's just a still of his face.
Yeah. I'm just showing you where you had cut it. So do you see that black line though?
I don't see any movement. I see a still of his face. No cursor moving. No. There we go. Now I see it.
Oh wow, that's super delayed. That's
yeah.
weird.
It was a delay. At least we're not delayed. That's okay.
Right. So you had cut it. You had cut this line.
Yeah.
Right? Along the cheekbones. Mm-hmm. The problem with that is, as I start distorting his jaw while he talks, the lines will like slip in and out of alignment.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing is I went in and let me get rid of this line. I went in and put that whole line on the jaw layer, and then it will warp and distort with the entire jaw. And so his nose and his mullet are sitting on top of the jaw layer, which is underneath.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So
this whole thing can just bounce around and do whatever, but there's a blank spot in the middle for his nose and his mouth.
Okay.
So anyway, so then I brought that in like this, and let me just show you these controls. I'm going to change the background color to not blue. Be not blue.
That kind of looks nice as blue.
I know. So so each one of these controls, is this frozen now? What is going on with my, there we go. So the eyebrow will go up and down, and if I go left and right with it, it turns.
Oh yeah, I like that.
So we can get that. It's just a fixed layer though.
Yeah.
Same with this one, up and down turning. Okay, and then this does the eyes, and so I can make them look left, right, up, down. So both eyes are controlled with this controller. A little bit of a problem, like if I go too far to the left, you can see
there's that little egg white thing.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll ever have him
look
that far, and I can mask it if we do. And then the really cool part is the eyelids. Let me zoom in here, like so. Okay, so the eyelids, they warp and distort, and so let me show you actually what's going on.
Wow, because that's weird. Because I just drew a regular, like a blink. I just drew a layer of flesh like that with a little face.
Right, and so the nice thing about this is I can make it like this. If I slide it the other way, I can make it like that.
Wow.
Open them. Oop. Come back. I can open them, or I can close them, but I can do it just one layer at a time. So you can look really sleepy. You can do that layer, or I can open that one and I can make him look kind of a little bit squinty. So if I bring that down, he squints, or he gets really surprised.
I just figured out, Cory, you have a God complex. You are master of all emotions of this individual. You control him.
So let me just show you really fast how that worked. I'll just show you on one thing. So let me open up.
Man, that's really cool.
So you can see that each one of these is a puppet pin.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and why can't I see any view show layer controls and puppet pin? There we go. So what it does is it puts a distortion mesh on that layer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can go in and I can animate. I'll use this now. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Something's freaking out about my computer, but I can go in and I can move these and it warps kind of the whole layer.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And so I just rigged that up with joysticks and sliders so that I had those 5 positions: normal, up, down, right, left, and then each one of those eyelids has a different control. And so if you want them to squint, if you want them to do whatever, you can do that. So basically, it just came down to, he can blink, he can open, he can look back and forth. And then I love, it's a little Eon flux there. When he looks down, your cornea is a little bit raised on your eyeball. And so when you look down and look left and right, it actually deforms your lower eyelid just a little bit. And so you can see when he looks down that his eyelid follows the shape of his cornea. No one will care about that but me, but I think it's cool. Oh, we've got people in the chat that I've been ignoring.
Oh my gosh.
Frank is there twice. He's there as 2 different people. So anyway, that's kind of what I had so far. I'll stop playing this now. Maybe.
Like, it is not Charles in charge, Salazar. It's Cory in charge. You're right. Cory in charge of our days. Cory in charge of our nights. That's incredible. You know what? I feel like this guy is your globe, and you're an explorer, and you're trying new things. You're figuring out. You know what I mean? It's just that it's a human face instead of a landscape.
Yeah. So I just had I had a couple questions about his mouth.
Yes.
Also, I couldn't do the 3D head turn with this because I couldn't figure out how to get this ear right here on his right ear, our left, detached from his head.
It's easy. But I'm gonna let you figure it out because I don't want to teach a man to fish.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now, I'm thinking he's just not going to turn his head as much because I figure he's a more solid character anyway. So I'm using that as an excuse to not.
Yeah. So and Salazar asked the question: is this After Effects? Yes, he's using After Effects. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in
After version? Does it matter what version? It's whatever Adobe gives you. The latest one, right?
Yeah. This one's 2020. So yes, this is the latest one. So anyway, with his mouth, I don't understand what's going on with his teeth. So does he have like one tooth right in the middle?
If you were to zoom in like 1,000 times, it would be 2 teeth probably. I would say in my mind.
Okay.
It's just that you can't. It's just that I didn't differentiate every single tooth. But he's missing 2 teeth. He's missing. Let's see. He'd be missing not the fangs, the other ones. These.
Okay. I don't know what that's called, but the ones in between the 2 middle teeth and the incisors.
Yeah.
Or eye teeth or whatever. Okay. That's fine. So for him, do we want to do the same thing that we did with the Jock Bro guy, or do we want to have just a couple mouth shapes that just kind of go in and replace?
A couple of mouth shapes, yeah.
Okay.
I think
so. If you just give me those mouth shapes, okay. I can move his jaw around a little bit.
Okay, and I'm gonna have to do that for the females. On my own cartoons, I'll give you more mouth. I'll try to give you the A, E, F, and all that stuff. For my own cartoons, I always just did A and O. but for this, I'll give you, and then you don't want them. You don't want any of the mouths I send you. You don't want them to be colored, right? You just want them to be the ink layer, right?
It depends on how we're doing it. Do you want me to do it like I did it with Adobe Character Animator?
No. I don't know. What is that easier for you?
It's easier once it's rigged. It's pretty complicated to rig.
You know what? I don't know. That's because
Well,
I
you know something that we could do. Oh, I wonder if that would work.
Hmm.
What I was going to say is you could animate the mouth, and then I could just put it on top of the character. Yeah, I mean, you can just do it the way you normally do it with the A's and the is it E and O that you do?
Yeah, like an A and an O, or like an A and E mixed.
Okay.
And an O, open and an O. Um,
But I don't know because you're in Flash. I don't know how you get that to come over.
I mean, I could just probably I can easily draw you the mouse just to drop on top, and I can match the color if you want.
Yeah, I mean that'd be fine. I mean, we do have like a giant. Where are we? Head. Give me
Because I still have to draw the girls' mouths and then the friends' mouths and stuff. I could do it exactly. What I could do is I could do. Well, here's my question. So on mine, when I would do my own, that mouth right there would be the at rest mouth. And then I would to do a mouth on top of that, an open mouth, I would go in and color flesh colored all over, like I did on another layer, and then draw a new mouth. But since his mouth layer, his rest mouth is at a separate layer, that's why I was saying I might not need to draw the backgrounds. I mean the flesh. You know what I mean? I might not need to color it in. It might
I can just turn it on.
Yeah, so I can just draw a mouth with teeth and black.
So, in all transparency, I'm not super excited to do it the way that you do it because I think that would take me forever. So I'm just trying to figure out the quickest way to do it in my head here.
I'm trying to figure out a way not have to lip sync it myself too. Because I hate that's the thing I hate the most. But
I know it's my least favorite thing. That's why I've spent so much time.
If you want to, but then we have like 3 other people speaking in this film, maybe 4, 5 other people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Jock Bro guy, his mouth is just going to move really quickly and flap open and shut, and so we've kind of got he's easy.
I mean, unless you want to rig each character that way. My question is this, though. If we do it that way, does each character have to have their own teeth layer, or can it be a mouth with teeth? You know what I mean? And connected, like where the background's not separate, where the tongue's not separate, and then because I'm only thinking because there's going to be a couple of shots where people just say 2 words. You know what I mean? Like it's worth it to rig them up for that.
Well, I mean, if we do it the way that we got to name these styles or something so that we know what we're talking about. But the Jock Bro, sorry, bring my mic closer. The Jock Bro way of doing it is pretty straightforward, and you can stick anything inside of that mask because we're basically just taking a composition and animating the mask. And I can bring that up so that everybody knows what we're talking about. But
and while you're doing that, Salazar says we can just make them all telepaths, which I'm thinking that might be the way to go.
Yeah, they could just put their finger to the side of their head and we just know their thoughts. We're avid mask wearers is his other suggestion, which I'm doing an entire cartoon in the future, post-apocalyptic, and there's a lot of people with long beards and mustaches and masks because I hate lip syncing so much. There's one guy that for no reason at all just wears a respirator all the time.
This is Cory's opportunity to really challenge himself with something he really hates. And I think we all just put our hearts into it, we can get him to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to learn anything new about lip sync. So
this guy, we'll go into his head. So this is just a like the teeth and tongue don't move.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking for the other characters. I'm also trying to think economical.
Yeah.
Like this guy, his teeth are on a different layer. The background's on a different layer. I'm thinking, let's say for there's like one of the girl characters. I don't know. Let's say Kelly. Maybe I just draw. I draw a mouth with teeth and a tongue, like in a kind of an open, pose.
Mhm.
And maybe the lips are on a separate layer, and then you could drop her in because it's going to be all flesh colored, and you can maybe do that with that. That way you could make an O and you could make but I don't know if is it a real pain in the butt to do the lip sync that way too. Because to me, it would seem like it would be just as bad as dropping an O or dropping an E or dropping a.
It depends on how, because this is just all of these shapes that he's got.
Mm-hmm.
They're all controlled with one layer and this one control. So I can just add no, that's the wrong one. That's his head turn. Give me his mouth. There we go. So I can just come in here and I just grab this. Why is my computer fighting me right now? So annoying. There we go. And wherever I move this, he does it. And so that's it's the easiest thing, but it's really hard to get, like, if you want, because I know that you will have you'll go in and listen for consonants and vowels and you'll replace, so it looks like they're using their shapes. Yeah. With this, it's not really gonna, when he makes an F or a C or a K sound, it's not gonna look like it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I mean, not that it matters, but I thought it somehow it was easier to rig it that way, So he's just moving his mouth when there's sound,
yeah, I mean, basically, my plan with him is just to have his mouth move so quickly, that it just, and then I'll just.
And for him, that works. That works for him, I think.
And that's what I'm saying. For him, it works. For the girls, I could do it if you gave me like an upper lip and a lower lip. I could do the same thing that I did with the eyelids. And I could just deform them and then control them with the thing, and then
so upper lip, lower lip, and mouth.
Yeah, upper lip, lower lip,
and teeth,
and then mouth, upper teeth and tongue.
Yeah, but we won't worry about moving the tongue or moving the. You're just gonna move the lips to. You know what? That works. It's kind of a hybrid between our two methods, because. Yeah. So that'll work. I'll go back. Well, I guess I got to go back and cut each mouth out from the girls and send them separate.
I mean, are their mouths that different? Because I could rig up one mouth for.
No, I don't think they're that different, really.
So let's have them. I mean, we can change lipstick if you want, but let's do one mouth, and we can use it for all three girls. That way, we can. You only have to draw it once. And if you want to go in and say, let's change. Give me different lip colors or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be easy. You know what I can do to make it a little bit easier too? I mean, when I create the mouth, I can just duplicate it 3 times and color and change the lipstick colors for all, and then call 1, 1. You know what I mean? So that you're getting 3 sets.
Yes.
And then they'll always have their at rest mouth, right? Like the original mouth that I drew, that's their at rest mouth.
Yeah, I could do that.
Because there's 3 is similar enough. It's just that they have different lipstick colors. So I'll just, that's an easy compromise. I can do that. I can send you 3 sets. Now, here's the other question. I got about thinking about this morning. When I'm sending you stuff like this, do you want them in separate, like, so there's Veronica, Kelly, and Denise. Do you want me to send you Veronica stuff in one email, Denise's in a separate, or do you want one file, just girls' mouths?
One file is okay.
Okay.
Because my plan is, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna rig one mouth, and then I'm gonna do an effect in After Effects that changes the color of the lips, and I'll just match that layer. So you could even just do one mouth and then give me a swatch for each lipstick color for me to match it to.
Okay.
That way I can use the same composition and apply effect to it.
Done.
And it would make it a lot easier.
Okay, I'll do that. And
then I can turn the transparency of that on or off. So it'll show the rest mouth when they're not talking, and then I'll turn the transparency up to 100. So it's totally opaque, and then turn it off again when they're not talking.
Okay. And that way you don't have to match an S to an S or an E. You know what I mean? They're just kind of moving, right?
Yeah, and there are cartoons that do that, like Fairly Odd Parents and things like that.
I'm totally, you know what? We can get away with it in this. I think it's totally fine. Mine, it works for me because I have such limited animation, so that when you do have mouths that kind of go ooh, when there's it kind of brings something to it. There's so much more stuff going on.
Well, and I can try to do that a little bit.
Okay. Speaking of, I plan to do the dialogue tonight or tomorrow. I'll probably send you some this weekend for sure. I'll send you a bunch of dialogue.
Let me mute this and show everybody the other thing.
Where's everyone else?
Okay.
It's stupid to
So when she's talking, when he's talking, it's the same as the Jock Bro character. It's just a puppet warp on 2 different layers. When she's talking, it's got all the different mouth shapes rigged up to character animator. It's super fast to do the lip sync. It does take a while to get it rigged first. So it'll probably take me 2 to 2.5 days to rig it because I only have a couple hours every day. But it's probably like a 4-hour rig process. But after that, it just listens to the. That's why I'm asking for Wayne. If you want to do this. So is anybody giving any long speeches? Because I mean, if anybody's talking for more than like 10 seconds at a time,
not too much. No, not really.
Yeah. So if nobody's talking for long periods of time, this is a lot of work for very little output.
Right.
For like long speeches.
Right. We could. You're not going to get. There's nobody talking for more than 10 seconds at a time.
Okay. So yeah. So let's just do the other one when.
So we'll call it. What are we calling that other way? It'd be like a lips and mouth method.
Yeah, joysticks and sliders mask.
Or the lamb. We call it lamb around here. The LAM.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Lips
and mouth. It's just lips and mouths moving. That's all.
Okay, LAM. I'm in. I like that.
Lips and mouth, etc., or lame, as we call it.
Let me just show you this one guy in case we want to not engineer.
So a big part of my thinking is also to create the least amount of work for you too.
Right.
That doesn't include me doing the lip sync. That is my that's what my focus is.
This is a character that I have who talks a lot.
Through a mask.
Yeah. And the nice thing about it is I just go in and where's the mask base? Oh, now where's this? Oh, speaker. Yeah. So I just go in and it's been a while. Oh, mouth. There we go. Okay. There's that. So this one, I just do this. I just move this up and down while he talks. The whole.
Oh, yeah.
So this just moved in and out.
I do that with mustaches. When he has a big old mustache, and it just goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
that's great.
So there's my cheat of like anybody with facial hair or something covering their mouth. So if you want anyone wearing bandanas, I'm all about that. That's like
wow. Anyway. So the next stage we're getting, because we're already kind of getting into the stage where we're about like I'd say 80% done with the elements for the main characters,
right?
Like front, sides, and backs. I got to give you sides. I have a whole file that I don't think I've sent you the side of Wayne yet, have I? The back and the back and the side view.
I didn't get a message about it, so I'm not sure. If you uploaded it to the drive,
I might have uploaded it to the drive, but it's done. It's done. If I didn't, I can do that in a second. It's done.
Okay.
And so that's covered.
Yeah, when you upload stuff, just drop me a quick note.
Okay.
Say, hey, I added this.
All right.
I don't get notifications on.
Oh, it's like a Christmas surprise when you go, oh, look, Jim. All right, I'll do that. And so you just we're going to need, and again, what I'm doing is I'm using the storyboard to kind of guide me so far, because we don't need it. I'm not going to draw it. So, and But
And then have I shown you this yet?
I think so. Yeah, the one shot with a guy and his friends. Yeah, I love it. With the guys, this guy on the right, Marco, the guy with the sunglasses. I love his neck kink that he does.
Oh yeah, have we showed this on the air yet?
I don't know. Let's go ahead and show it now. Maybe we should have started off with this, but
it's like slowly rendering. Let me just pull up the rendered file. Because it's silly to not.
So for all of you that have hung around to the 30-minute mark, this is your reward.
Right. So he's got a little twitch, and then this guy, he was really fun to do. I have his eyes vibrating about 10 pixels, just so he just looks like he can't focus on anything. And then his head goes back and forth, and he's got a little bit of a. He actually took me about two hours to rig, because everything is based on, his whole character is based on that he's really wobbly, but he keeps his beer totally upright all the time. And so when his beer shifts, his entire body rotates to compensate for it.
Let me ask you this, Cory. Are you having fun doing this?
I had fun rigging that part.
Okay. I want it to be fun for you. Don't ever do anything that's, when it stops being fun, then you just like, okay, shortcut time.
Okay, but that was, I just gotta show you this. No one's gonna care about this, but I do. All right, so
this is your forum to show the things that people will miss.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So his
zoom in on him, could you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so everything is rotating. So what happens is I put a wiggle rotation on his forearm, and everything else is linked up to his forearm with an equation to it that says that it's either more of a rotation or less of a rotation. So I'm
it's exactly how I've been animating all these years.
Let me. Okay.
That's insane, man. It's hilarious, but it's insane. It's like, wow.
Okay, like this is science. Okay, so it's this layer, whatever his bicep does, and then multiply that by negative 0.8. And so it does the opposite of it, but a little bit less.
Wow.
So it does 0.8 of,
And is his rat tail, is it swinging at the end too? I think.
Oh yeah. The rat tail, and
you zoom in on the rat tail. That's like, I want to see the rat tail. And the necklace.
Two things are happening on the rat tail. The rat tail rotates. It's rendering it out. Hold on, let me render it by half so it just doesn't.
That's a beautiful rat tail. I want people to.
So the rat tail rotates with the rotation of his head.
That's so cool.
Opposite the rotation of his head, but then also has a puppet pin where it swings, and so it's warping and rotating.
That's great.
And Frank says that he cares, so that's good. I'm glad that somebody cares. But let me show you this. So this right here, it's got a wiggle expression, which is just a random number generator. What this says is it's wiggle parentheses 1 comma 20 parentheses. And what that means is that it's going to move 20 degrees of rotation once a second. And so it just kind of randomly does that. But the cool part about it is that as that does that, everything else is attached to that. So like his forearm is attached to that layer, and it moves opposite. And so if I went in here like this and I moved this, watch what happens. Everything adjusts. So I can have him all in the one layer, and it breaks eventually.
Wow.
Like that. But like his head adjusts, so his head is always upright.
Wow.
And then his other arm reaches out to compensate. There was a guy that was in a wheelchair that had lost most of the use of his like lower body from about chest down. And he said, I have no ab strength, no core strength at all. And so if I start to lean, you'll notice that I lift my arm up to compensate on the other side. And so he used his arms as a counterbalance so that he didn't fall out of his wheelchair. That's what this guy is doing. And so when he moves his arm like that, you'll notice his other arm goes out to counterbalance his elbow. but his drink is always perfectly upright.
That's so cool. That's the most important thing. I want people to be hypnotized by the rat tail.
Yeah. You notice the rat tail goes in and out. And if I go too far, his rat tail, like, cuts his neck.
I drew this guy pretty sketchy, but your animation has given him a whole nother level of sketch. He just looks really don't trust this guy. Wow.
Oh, now I can't remember. I got to not save this because I can't remember where it was.
So that's Curtis.
That's Curtis. And Curtis, you'll notice if we zoom in again, you'll notice his head. It goes back and forth. So he's got a little bit of a back and forth on his head. Anyway, he was fun to do. He just looks like a dude that was like, maybe he did math about 10 years ago for like 15 years really hard, and now he's off of it, but he still has the shakes.
He's just still on that. He's got the meth momentum.
Yeah. So that's kind of it.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can you jump over to Marco, the side henchman?
Yeah, he's not as much.
He has this little kink in his neck that you did that I thought was great.
Yeah. Oh, my computer's freaking out. There we go. Yeah, so he has a similar thing, but he just drinks and then his head kind of twitches.
Marco looks like a guy that has done damage, like into drinking. Like his insides are not that great, probably.
Yeah, and so I didn't have him move as much. I figured he's kind of the guy that just kind of like stands in the corner, kind of menacingly. But you'll notice that his left arm has just got a little bit of a drift. And then his right arm is rigged from the elbow. And so if you look too close, you'll see where the rig breaks. But he drinks, and I actually cut up his hand. So you'll notice that as he lifts his arm up and down, his bottle also stays mostly. His hand isn't attached to his forearm anymore.
Okay, cool.
So
but it's attached to the bottle in more ways than one.
So it's just like that. And then I added that so that when his arm rotates, let me get this out of here. So when his arm rotates, you'll notice that the bottle stays upright the whole time.
Yeah. So the whole puppetry thing is a whole different, you're using a different area of your mind than you do when you're drawing people talking. Like, for example, when you're drawing it out, you might go going, "Hey, where are you going?" Because he's going to do it like this. But when you have as a puppet, not only does he do that, but it also affects his shoulders and his head, and it's like, so you get more expression, but it's different. It's a different type of expression. This still works, like the animated, real simple one still works, but it's like a different type of joke.
Yeah. So if anybody's still watching at this point in time and you want to know what's going on, this is one of my best tricks. It's like it's you just multiply it by a negative, and it gives you the opposite. And so this hand is attached to this forearm, so I don't have to do anything with the hand. But when the forearm rotates, the hand is being multiplied. The hand is rotating with the forearm, but multiplied by -1. And then I tilted a little bit. So I subtracted 8 degrees so that it rotated to where I wanted it. And then it stays there because it's multiplied by -1. So this whole part of this equation is just saying, give me whatever is in this layer on the rotation. So give me this layer's rotation. That's all that is. And then I subtracted 8 so that it just rotated to 8 degrees. And then the next part of it is I multiplied it by -1. And so it just does the opposite of it. And like I can exaggerate that if I multiply it by like -3, then when I rotate, it moves way more. So it just does the opposite. Anyway.
Real quick, maybe one last thing, and we can call it a day. Can you show the head kink? That's my favorite thing.
Yep.
That and the rat tail are my like 2 favorite things that you like probably done. Like it's so simple, but
the 2 things that took me like
10
minutes.
Yeah. But it's so effective. And you know why? Because it looks good when you do it. There you go. I just saw it.
Yep, it's on loop. So he just does
such a good little. It adds so much, and the hand too. The left hand, his left hand. How it feathers.
Yeah, it just slowly drifts.
That's some good body language right there, Cory. You did a great job.
So this is Akira Kurosawa. Akira Kurosawa did this with his actors. Is he said, just pick a physical thing that you do over and over and over again. And so in Seven Samurai, one of the samurais has like a shoulder twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And so like as he's walking, he just occasionally just twitches his so like in any shot, you know which guy that is, because he just kind of just twitches his shoulder. That was some direction that he would give each actor, is like, even if I'm not looking at your face, I want to know who you are and what what you're about. So everybody choose one thing that you just do compulsively.
That's very cool.
So this guy's got a little head twitch.
Mine would have been this. And the Oscar goes to.
And that would be a slightly different movie than Yojimbo, but
it'd still be called Yojimbo though, but just with a space in the middle.
Yo-Jimbo.
Yes. So the next one that we do of these, I'm guessing, is probably going to have some kind of dialogue. It might be our first attempt to show some of the dialogue with it, maybe.
Yeah.
And then also, because you'll have new artwork, some new side shots and stuff like that. But we're making some pretty good. We're starting to hit the road is starting to peer downward now. We're starting to get some momentum going.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll rig up the side view. Excuse me. Do we have a 3/4? Do we have a need for a 3/4 of any of these people?
Probably not. No.
That's not working.
So just front, sides, and backs. We're just going to use those.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
If I have a particular shot where a guy falls down a certain way or does something, I'll draw that separately. But yeah, we just front, side, and back. We'll be fine. And then I didn't tell you this. I already started. In fact, I'm almost done with the long panoramic shot of the bar.
Okay.
I got to figure out a way to post that on Instagram in pieces, because it's really long and it's super cool. It'd be like a really cool strip poster.
Okay, let me show you. Let me show you how to do that really easily.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Show me.
Like this. So Instagram is like, I think it's 1080 by 1080 is the basic. So I just go 2000 by 2000 pixels. And so if you set up, I don't know what you've got, but the way I do it is in Illustrator. So I'll go pixels, and we'll go 2000 by 2000, and then more settings, and give me 10 artboards in a row with no space in between them, and create document. So what happens is
Photoshop it all like that?
maybe, I don't know. So basically, each one of these is going to be like a single frame. This is how I do carousels. And then if I have a long image, like I'll just do a big long image like this, and we'll make that like black or something. And it'll spit this out one at a time. So I can go in and I can export, just this first artboard. So I'll just. Why is my computer not reacting to things that I'm doing right now? I'm going to restart my computer. It's being weird. Save for Web Legacy isn't available. Why not? Anyway, I don't know what's going on. Still not available? Something strange. I'm not sure what's happening. Anyway, you can export it, and it'll export each one of these images, and then you just load them onto your phone and just put them in one at a time. So
all right.
Yeah, just put artboards right next to each other, and then you put one image across all of them.
All right.
That's the easiest way to do it. I think you might be able to do it with like Keynote does that. I think that's what Chris Do uses, is Keynote, which is like a free program on a Mac.
I do have Keynote.
Yeah.
I'll YouTube that.
Yeah, he's got a couple examples of. He's got a couple tutorials where he explains how to do that.
Okay. So I just save it as probably like a JPEG first, I'm guessing, and then just drop it, and it'll chop it up for me.
Yep.
All right. Excellent. Cool.
Cool.
All right, that'll be a preview for next time too.
Okay. Yeah. So, did I do it with this one? Yeah, I did it with this one. So this is one of those that I did that with. I just put it. It's just a big thing. So these are all
Yeah,
just
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. So just one image. This is just a photo that I took of my sketch pad that goes through the storyboards for this. So
Cool. All right. Nice.
good stuff. Okay, so yeah, I will wait to. I think I'm totally caught up, except for I'm totally caught up with everything I have, unless there's stuff I'm in the drive that I haven't seen yet. So let me know what, and I'll get the rest.
Okay. Cool.
If,
Let
the
me.
next,
I'll go check the
next,
drive too. I'll see what's
the
in there.
next thing I do is Wayne's mouth. If we're like prioritizing, give me Wayne's mouth, and then the girls' mouths, and then whatever else after that.
Okay.
But that bar scene will be the long bar shot. That'll be really easy to do for me. So if you give me that, I can have that done in less than an hour.
All right. Excellent.
Are you having any of the patrons that are sitting at the bar in separate layers so that I can give them like a little bit of a?
Yes, I've done both. There's ones that don't move at all, that don't need to move because it's going to be a pan shot. They're just going to be sitting there. Like there's about half of them don't move, and then half of them are on the stools on different layers, and then there's some people standing around that are on different layers.
Okay.
And there's a couple standing like by the bar that don't need to move and then the bartender and the waitress in the back, they'll on different layers. Okay. And it's just kind of a mixture. You'll see when you turn off the main bar layer, you'll see some people disappear. Same thing with the bar stools. They're all embedded in the bar layer, but that's because we don't need to have feet going behind the,
right
behind the bar.
So do you have like ideas for movements on those layers, or do you just want me to kind of ad lib?
I kind of left it open for ad lib. Okay. You'll see it when you watch it. You'll see it because, for example, there's this one biker guy, and he's his back arm is the animated arm, and he's kind of holding the beer like that, and he's talking to a girl. So you'll probably just have him going like, you'll see it when you see it. I think it'll speak to you.
I got to put you full screen because your arms are getting cut off.
Yeah, they'll be like that. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Cool. Okay, I'll do it.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody. We'll see you in a few days. We never know when we're going to do these, but we're. If I had to guess, I'd say we're a quarter ways through right now, probably.
Yeah, we're probably a quarter way through the project. I'd say we're even further in the assets and animation and stuff, though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, from here, we've got the fight, and then we've got lip sync.
Yeah, those are the only two big challenges, really.
Yeah.
The fight's going to be easier than you think, though. I tell you, it's not going to be much of a fight. It's not back and forth. It's not it's like swing and a miss, and then a punch, and then we'll do the ripple thing, and then that's pretty much it. Okay. So, all right, guys. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy 2021.
Yeah. Happy 2021.